Hi, I'm Travis, and this is Handcrafted Overlanding. In part 1, I got the side panel off the truck. In part 2, looking at getting it put back together. So far, the cost of this project has been about $100. That's in this packing tape that we're using to tape the panel back together, so it'll hold it in place while we're fiberglassing. I ended up picking up the fiberglass over at Home Depot along with the resin epoxy. I bought 2 quarts of it. I only really needed 1. In fact, I didn't even need that much. One thing to remember, epoxy goes a long way, especially when you're using fiberglass to reinforce it. We're currently at the stage after we've finished taping the panel back together. We're going to go ahead and start roughing up the back surface. Now, we're using 80 grit sandpaper. And because this is a composite plastic and not a fiberglass, I didn't feel like I really needed a mask. Though, to be fair, I probably should have used one. There are 2 popular types of fiberglass mats. There's the chopped stranded type, and then there is the woven type. I chose to go with the woven type. Now, it provides structural rigidity in 2 directions. In order to maximize the rigidity of this particular project, we ended up cutting some strips and placed them on the form at 45 from the original layer. We ended up with 2 layers, and it didn't add a lot of weight or thickness. I originally bought some really fancy epoxy and some really fancy fiberglass mat online, and I'll be honest with you, don't bother. The stuff I'm using is from Bondo. Again, not sponsored by anyone, but $8 for the mat, and I think I spent $16 per quart on the epoxy. One of the cool things about fiberglassing is, while it's still in its matte form, it's really easy to cut. Just using a pair of scissors and cutting it out to size. Really easy. One thing that we also did before we actually started doing the epoxying is we wiped everything down with acetone. This made sure that it pulled up any particulates. It would help to make sure that we had a good bond to the surface. Overall, it's a good step. It took maybe 5 minutes. I will say this much, it's nice.
Oh yeah.
At least it's not like 97 degrees out.
90, 100, 110. So you go like this, and then you start that one at that corner. You go down the other way. Just overlap them. Corner to corner.
Yeah.
There you go. Now what we could do is, if you really wanted to, we could actually cut these ones and do the same thing and continue it all the way down.
No, I like these big patches there. What we could do is just cut more and do more above.
Let's do more above that goes over this, because this is kind of a weak spot here.
I agree.
And let's just crisscross it all the way down. And then if you really wanted to, you could do it. Well, that strip is already the strip that goes this way.
And this way.
Yeah, so this is the crisscross, and that should be perfect.
Yeah.
We just need a few more strips.
Making me do more work on my own project? How dare you?
Yes.
Apparently I don't know how to cut a straight line.
It's fine. It doesn't need to be straight.
I know.
Hey, I'd rather do overkill with this, because the resin is probably going to be the easy part.
You know, you say that, but I wholeheartedly disagree. I know me, and I have a feeling that this is going to make life difficult.
Yeah.
One's going to be wetter than the others.
That's fine.
So yeah, about the that Total Boat Marine stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to use that for this project. Because that stuff is supposed to be dry and crystal clear, and
It's for fine finish work, probably.
yeah, and this is not fully finished work.
This nobody will ever see unless they take it off again.
Right. This is Fix Travis's mistake project.
You have an issue with backing up into things, don't you?
You know what? I don't have an issue. I seem to have it down pretty well.
Yeah. There's that, and there's the dents on your truck.
That was actually something I was going to pick up today. Was going to be a set of I think they're called finishing hammers. The finish hammers and the hammer blocks and all that sort of stuff, so I could knock the dents out.
Yeah, because you could take the cover off on the inside of your hitch there and just hang them out from the inside.
So I know
really gently.
I know I can get this one, and these right here. That one I'm not sure I can reach into yet, but I'm willing to give it a go.
Well, you'd have to do that one, but you'd have to take out your backup camera, and then you'd have to take out your latch there, and then you can hit it from the inside.
Yeah. Oh, did I tell you that doing the research on it, if I got the right remote key, I can actually have remote start on my truck. That's pretty much the only thing that's holding it back. That and the hood latch. Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah.
Damien was right. The epoxy part was simple. I ended up buying a bunch of cheapy throwaway brushes, as well as some of these aluminum rollers, which they shouldn't be disposable, but they kind of are, because once you get epoxy in them, they're kind of hard to clean out. Anyway, the whole process here is pour 2 ounces of the epoxy, put in 20 drops of the hardener, we mix it for 30 seconds, poured in the location, made sure it was soaked all the way through the fiberglass, rinse and repeat. So I think this whole process took maybe 20 minutes. The prep was definitely more work, and that's pretty much how any good project really should go. Prep should be the one that takes you the most time. The actual fiberglass part, or the actual work part of the project, that should be super fast and super easy. Things that we learned with epoxy, it's not a joke. If you get any on your skin, get it off as soon as possible. Definitely wear gloves. There's really no such thing as the wrong or the right tool, if you will. But there are some tools that really make it work. Like this little roller that Damien is using. It made sure that there was no air bubbles, that everything was saturated all the way through. It was fantastic. Now, this panel that you see us up against, the only thing that's vertical in the scene, is removable. It's removable by, 5 bolts. We chose to leave it in place because we didn't want the packing tape, to be the only structural rigidity to this while we're doing this and while it's curing. Later on, I remove it and I fix the cracks in that particular portion of the side of the bed. Unfortunately, it drops in the night, and you'll see. It's not a great shot, but it definitely covers it. And as you can see in just the time it took me to explain this, we're already putting down the second layer. It's super quick and super easy. Again, I used maybe a half of the epoxy for the whole project. I didn't use a lot, and it is very, very sturdy. All right, so 2 liters of fiberglass, probably half a quart of resin. Most of it's hard, it's almost there, but it's hard. So 24 hours to cure it, that should be more than enough. Then I'll trim the edge and then flip it over. I'm going to start fixing all those cracks from the other side because you can still see them. And we got to get it prepped for paint and out to the paint shop.
Yeah.
So.
Or you can just can it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take it to the paint shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to sand it all down, and I'll probably call them, see if they want me to sand, if it makes more sense to sand the whole front end, and if so, I mean, I guess it kind of does, but...
Yeah.
Alright, well, we'll let that chooch, and... Yeah, it's hard, but...
It's not hard.
Alright, so here we are in the backyard, where project's come to wait. Fiberglass is all nice and hardened up, but I do still have splits over here in the front end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel some of this back, not a lot, but I'm going to unbolt this plate, remove it, get it into the seam, and get a piece of fiberglass put down in there. So let's have it. These should be 13 millimeter. Look at that, they're not. What do you think, 11s? No, not even 11. 10. Ah, they're 10s. I'd like to say that was a project, but I think we both know that that's not the answer. Alright, so we got a big old crack that runs from here all the way down the inside into here. This crack continues down over here. So what I'm going to do, I think I might get a strap or something, strap this closed a little bit better. Redo the tape on the outside here, and then fiberglass from here all the way to here. Just got a big old strip and just lay it on down. Alright, let me get this dirt cleaned up, sanded down, and prepped. Alright guys, sorry it's a little dark out, but you know, work a full-time job, it's a Thursday. Yeah, how life goes. Anyways, same process as before. We're going to mix up a little bit of resin. We're going to use our tools, we're going to get them in, they'll get it supported. Hopefully this will harden overnight. It's gonna be like 30 degrees tonight, so I mean, bring inside, but then you got the smell that comes in the house, and I mean, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Worst case, it takes a day or two to harden. And tomorrow it's supposed to rain in the evening, so it has to come inside anyways. Alright, you can't really see it, but got epoxy all around here. Got more fiberglass laid down. It's going to fix this crack and the crack over here. Hopefully it's going to help it remain rigid. If not, this inner wheel flare will take care of it. Mix up just a touch too much epoxy, but whatever, it happens. I got a whole nother bottle of stuff. So that's going to harden. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get it into the garage before it starts raining. Flip it, we can actually see what damage that we can do. You can kind of see a little bit through there. We're going to just be basically backfilling that with some Bondo. If this was steel, I wouldn't want to Bondo it. It's not steel, it's plastic, so it is what it is. Alright guys, I do apologize it's being so long and in so many parts, but what can you do, right? Catch you guys later. Hey guys, so we're back a couple days, weeks later. Fiberglass is all hardened up. There doesn't seem to be anything that isn't cured. I got all the tape off the front end of this. Touch it in. I got all the tape off, and for the most part, the seams came together really well. There are a couple pieces that are cracked out. There's a couple pieces that are a little uneven, that sort of thing. I got this whole edge reinforced. So my next goal is to get all of the damaged area sanded down. Now I don't know if I'm going to sand the entirety of this whole thing, either the whole thing resprayed, or if I'm just going to sand like from here to the end over here. Not sure. I'm going to call a couple places to see what they think. See how well they can blend and match. But the goal for today is I plan on working up from 80 grit all the way up to probably 400. I want to get all these seams leveled. And no more fiberglass showing through over here. Then I'm going to take some what are they called? Carbide burrs. I'm going to come through and I'm going to just ever so lightly kind of dish these out. And I'm going to go ahead and backfill that with Bondo. Well, not Bondo. My uncle, who's a lot smarter in things like this than I am, and you know, Damien, who's also a lot smarter than I am on these sort of things, said Bondo is designed for metal, not designed for things that flex. This flexes. So my concern is that once this is all bondoed up, if it's mounted on the truck and it flexes or something like that, that Bondo will just pop straight out, screw the whole paint job up. I'd hate for that to happen to the next person who owns this truck. So I ordered some specialty stuff that'll be in tomorrow, and what I'll do is I will go through and I will apply that. That stuff actually, really cool stuff. I'll put a link in the description to it. You can put it on a card. It folded it almost a full 180 degrees and almost laid sides together before it actually cracked. Really cool stuff. So really expensive too. And it's unfortunate that I had to buy so much of it just to finish this project, because I'm gonna use maybe an ounce, maybe 2 ounces, maybe 4 ounces, and it's 32 ounces, so that's way more than I'll actually need. So that goes in the collection of stuff to use later. So this next part is going to be a time lapse. I'm not going to talk during it because I'm going to be wearing a respirator because it's cold out. The garage is going to be mostly closed. I'm going to have an air fan going to pull the particulates out of the air. So yeah, let's get to this. This is the first time I've sanded through automotive paint, and this dual layer coat that automotive use is tough, although that shouldn't be much of a surprise to anyone. This is sped up at 30 times speed that it took me. I only ended up using 2 pads, which is nice, but it did take a while to sand most of this down. This is just prepping for the next step, which is going to be dishing out those cracks, and then Bondo or filler next. So yeah, working on these curves was a little bit of a challenge. You can't really work too long at one spot, or else you're going to start cutting in flat points. And if you're trying to keep the original curvature of the vehicle. That's never a good thing. At the very end, I actually had to do this by hand because there's no way I was going to get in that curve. I don't know. That was just a challenge. So that was all by hand just to get as much paint off as possible. So here I just kind of wanted to show you the process that I was using to get out these cracks. So just came in with that carbide burr. Just again, I'm not going all the way down to the fiberglass. I'm just trying to dish it out so it gives the bonding agent some place to grab onto. This particular spot was a little bit more challenging, and so was the side marker light mount because the way it broke, it left ledges. So my goal was I wanted to get rid of those ledges to make it easier for the filler to fill it. I can understand why the dentist charged so much because this was a time-consuming process, and this was on a macro scale compared to what they do. Anyways, so got the edges trimmed down, got those overhangs clipped off, and yeah, prepped this for the filler that comes in the next day. Is all this handwork necessary? I'll be honest, I don't know. I just wanted to hedge my bet to make sure that that it stuck, because again, that filler is not cheap and I don't want to do this again. Here I'm trying to fix the marker light location because, you know, fiberglass filled it up. There was also missing a chunk out. Straight up, did not do a good job at this. I plan on grabbing the marker light and then test fitting it, coming in with the carbide burr, trimming some off so it sits proper and actually connects into the frame. So I could have done better. I could have potentially found the piece that I lost. I don't know. It's going to be a challenge. I gratuitously used the filler in this location just to try to build some workable area up. There's going to be a lot of handwork for this. This is going to be a lot of detail, and frankly, I didn't capture any of that, mostly because by the time this video posts, I still haven't done it yet. I just wanted to get something out. So, yeah, I mean, as it stands, we're already at, what, 24 minutes? And this is already a pretty long video. So sorry, it's still kind of loud in here with the fans running. Trying to get all the air processed. I built a while back a air filtration system, a whole air filtration system, and it works. Just wouldn't recommend it. Go buy one over Harbor Freight or whatever. They're cheap. But this one works anyways. Back to the point. So I got this thing sanded down, especially everywhere that there's cracks. That filler is coming in tomorrow, and yeah, that filler's tomorrow. I'll be able to start patching these all up. This hole right here, let me bring you in closer. This one right here, I am gonna have to do something special to get this thing put back together. Mostly because I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the lens from the other side right there, and I'm gonna basically fit, grind, fit, grind, fit, grind, fit, grind. I only sanded this down to 80 grit tonight, mostly because I wanted to see what I'm gonna call it like a Matco or something like that, what they would recommend on this. I mean, there's parts of this that I'm gonna have to definitely get repainted. I'm gonna have to clean up, but I don't know if they are gonna recommend me resanding the whole thing or what have you. Anyways, we'll get to that sometime tomorrow where you get the filler in. Tomorrow we're gonna let the air filtration clean up the air a little bit more tonight. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm hoping to get this to paint this weekend, maybe Monday or Tuesday. You're gonna already see this pretty much done. We're gonna see how far, well, you'll know here in a few seconds, or at least sooner than I will, how the filler went, but never done filler. We'll see how it goes. But You got that big hole that we over here. You saw what I did. I kind of contoured the side so it kind of evenly slopes in, and mostly because I don't want any voids underneath it. So we'll build that up, get that corner all smooth back out. We'll get these contours looking good again. Like I said, that's going to take a little bit of work. I'm not sure how I'm going to end up doing this, but it's got to get done. So thanks so much, and see you guys tomorrow. So it's been a couple more days. The Polyflex finally came in. You can see I haven't even opened it yet. So this stuff is supposed to be flexible, used for fiberglass and the like. So on this, it should be pretty good, I hope. So I'm going to talk for part of this, but not the whole thing, because there's a whiff coming off of this stuff, and it is might powerful. I'm going to be turning on the fan to filter the air out in here. So, gotta love instructions when they say, put a dollop, a puddle, things like that. Anyways, the instructions are not very precise, and I don't like that. I've watched a couple videos on this stuff, but literally this says, for puddles larger than 4 inches in diameter, you'll require additional hardener. And this is to add the ribbon of cream hardener. How thick should you do it? How long should it do it? There's no real... come on, guys. I understand that you're trying to make this simple for people who want to be intuitive and stuff like that. That's not me. I like knowing the exact measurements. I don't want to put the stuff onto the truck and it not harden and me sitting there wondering why. Come on. Give me some measurements. Anyways, so we are going to go for a 4-inch puddle right here in the middle. I'm going to mix it up, and then we're going to start covering up these. I'm not sure if a 4-inch will be enough for that. I'll probably put a small layer on that to begin with and build up on that. But the idea is to get these filled and it kind of all over the place so I can blend it in. I'm just going to say I'm going to be successful at that. But anyways, time to get the respirator on. You go ahead and mix it up. But fan for the air filtration first, and then we'll go. All right. So I gotta say, I like the stuff. It kicks off quick. I've used a Bondo putty filler, and this is nothing like that. This actually kicks off quick. As soon as it kicks off, it starts to get a little stiff, and then boom, just all globs. Now, it makes sense because this stuff is supposed to be sandable within 15 minutes. And I do not blame, I don't doubt that in the slightest. Anyways, really cool stuff. Again, really expensive. It isn't quite self-leveling. It's more viscous than that. And overall, it worked. For that big hole that the truck has, I took 2 or 3 passes to cover it up. And yeah, it worked. As you can see, I mixed 3 batches, used a new board each time. And I even swapped out my gloves. But yeah, worked out great. I highly recommend this stuff if you have it in your budget. Woo. Well, it's got some whiff to her. Alright, so pop the garage open. Not really great lighting, as you can see, but you saw how fast that stuff chooched. Had maybe 5 minutes working time, if even that. Maybe it was too much hardener, I'm not sure. Anyways, let me sit up and kick on the big fans to blow, get this air kind of circulated out. Now this stuff's supposed to be sandable in 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure that's at optimal temperature, and it's not even 60 degrees out today, so I doubt I'll be sanding that anytime soon. But all that's left is I need to sand and work on the contours. Then I gotta call a couple places and see how much it's gonna cost to get this panel redone for painting. But otherwise, the repair is done except for the light marker area. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of finagling. Not sure how I'm gonna do that, but I'll figure it out. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll video it, but it won't be part of this video. If anyone asks for it, I'll probably post it. If not, I'll just set it in the archive. This Polyflex is super quick. I like that. It was peeling off really easy off the spatulas, but it didn't really peel off easy off the panel. So, hit it with some 250, get those contours rounded over, and then get it over to the paint shop. And then once I get this painted and back, I'll go ahead and post this, the final video of me putting it on the side of the truck. Might as well, right? Anyways, hope you learned something. Thanks for watching.